Thank you so much. So I really want to, create some thought-provoking, ask some thought-provoking questions. Rather than talking about what technology can do, I think a lot of speakers have spoken, digital twin, then we had this nanomaterial, all awesome stuff. India as a nation, we are all aspiring to be a $5 trillion economy, a $10 trillion economy, a $25 trillion economy. We have a lot of slogans, Atman, Sabka Vikas. Now, where are we in that journey? There's a lot of hope, a lot of positivity, but really, where are we from that journey? And let's look at the opportunities that are actually there today, okay? We all have seen that there is disruption. COVID has created a lot of disruption. We had the supply chain issues. We have GDP. India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. In fact, the head of McKinsey made a statement that if this is not the decade of India, this is going to be the century of India, right? And of course, we had this whole concept of, can we really be an independent India, not only serve the Indian domestic consumption as well as the international consumption as well. But the reality, where are we? This is a survey done by A.T. Kearney, and they really kind of started to talk about, where there are various parameters like customer satisfaction, quality, profitability, agility, and innovation. And they surveyed about 3,000 companies, and the reality is India is at the fourth quintile, okay, from a quality perspective, from where are we manufacturing perspective. So the whole concept is, are we really producing products? And as an Indian consumption, are we really consuming low quality products? And this needs to be fixed because there is a lot of competition in the world. We're talking of China plus one. Is India the China plus one? Or somebody else is the plus one? Or India is the China plus two, plus three, whatever. I still remember during the financial crisis of 2008, China lifted its hand and said that, hey, I want to be the manufacturing capital of the world, and they did a fantastic job out of it. And so every crisis creates a new leader. COVID is another crisis, not only a financial crisis, also a health crisis. Can India take opportunity? Can India really kind of emerge as a leader? But look at the reality today. Should we really be worried about the quality coming out of India? So really look at it from a 1997 to 2015 perspective, okay? India has definitely exported some of these precision engineering components that is really required. So it's grown from about 9% to about 18%. But look at what has happened to Vietnam. Vietnam has grown from 5% to 29%. So we are having competition. If you really look at even the textile industry, Bangladesh has emerged as one of the major manufacturer. And similarly, from an engineering precision products perspective, Vietnam is really kind of emerging as a great alternative to China, and we need to be fully aware of that. So similarly, if you really look at it from a global market share of an advanced perspective, maybe we have moved from 0.1% to about 1%, but if you really look at it, Vietnam is also kind of doing a much bigger job. But the whole idea is European Union is always supposed to know the world where the quality has to be the highest order for you to really sell into that particular market. And if you look at it, India, the percentage of imports about 0.5% and Vietnam is about 0.6%. So while we have a lot of aspiration for us to be one of the leaders in the manufacturing world, we need to start fixing things before we kind of lose the race. The beauty of disruption is disruption gets all of us on the same starting line. So the automotive industry is getting disrupted with EV, with autonomous. The aerospace industry is getting disrupted with vertical takeoff and landing. Medical industry is getting disrupted. So disruption really helps the developing economy and the developed countries back on the starting line. And it really helps us to start the race once again. But we need to start fixing some of the things in the whole market. So how can Indian companies really improve quality? So for us to really kind of improve quality, we need to really create a quality culture in the whole organization. And what is culture? I still remember one of the professors in Ahmedabad was telling that you can actually know the culture by just smelling as soon as you enter the organization. Right from the way the receptionist in the organization talks to you, to the CEO of the organization, you can smell the culture in the kind of an organization. So there's a very nice definition, of course, where somebody said that culture is an operating system which runs the company. So something that is really going behind the value systems that they have, the way each person behaves in that organization demonstrate the culture of the organization. And this is what I meant, that the quality, if you want to really build a quality culture, right from the reception area to the manufacturing head to the CEO of the company, we need to have the same culture. We need to really ensure that we are the leaders in developing quality products which is accepted worldwide in the manufacturing space. So creating a quality culture involves people, involves, let us say, you should start measuring it. And if you don't measure it, people are not going to act on it. So it's very important that the people are fully involved, and there's some kind of a measurement criteria, and what are the quality systems that we're actually using, and do we have a really kind of a technology, or is it like this standalone silos of the systems that we actually use? So let's really touch upon a few minutes on each of these topics. So if you really look at the people, as I said earlier, the whole organization has to be responsible. The whole organization has to believe in creating quality products, and that's extremely important. Right from the junior most employee to the senior most employee have to really kind of believe, the processes that they actually use should be of very high quality. So whether you're talking of product design, whether you're talking of supply chain, whether you're talking of manufacturing, whether you're talking of logistics, and the whole customer experience. So right from the concept stage to the design stage, to the manufacturing stage, the production, it is just not the quality department which determines what's the quality of the product. We can't really silo a quality in a box and say, yeah, hey, your job is to develop quality products. But the whole quality of culture depends right from the start to end. Otherwise, it just becomes more like a compliance. I don't know how many of you noticed when you came into the car in the hotel, the guy who was checking your bonnet and the guy who was checking your hood outside, he was just doing it like a mechanical activity, right? So, he was just following rules, following compliance. I don't think he was even worried about whether you're carrying something inside or what. So, the quality, you are in a danger of doing something like this if you start focusing quality only with your quality department or only with your manufacturing department, but quality has to be spread across the organization, and hence that's what I meant by creating a quality culture across the organization. So another thing is start measuring, scoreboarding an activity, and it is not very complex. Today, there are 90% of the industries that I've really seen where even a small 20% effort can produce about 80% of the result. The Pareto principle applies even to the quality as well. So we have seen a lot of organizations that are, in fact, they are not even aware of some of the redundant process, some of the reworks that is actually done in the organization for us to really kind of work. And you can start measuring quality from a performance perspective. Essentially, let's say this particular machine had to produce about 100 parts and it's producing about 80 parts, and that shows from a performance perspective, or from a machine breakdown perspective, from an availability perspective. So how good is your overall effectiveness in that kind of an organization? And these are some of the, normally in a quality department, they call it vital few, that they start measuring about the defects or the on-time complete shipment, the cost of poor quality, and how much of scrap that really created. I still remember in a very large OEM that we were kind of discussing this. We realized that they are still procuring parts because it's already procured, and those parts are not even being used because the design has actually changed, and that comes into the factory and just being treated as scrap. That's a huge amount of wastage because they don't have a kind of a product lifecycle management tool or whatever, a single source of truth for us to ensure that your supply department, your manufacturing department, and the design department are looking at the same version of the design. So these are some of the things that you can measure to ensure that your quality, that the quality of culture is built across the organization. And of course, people talk of quality systems. There are various number of systems out there. People assume that if they are ISO certified, they automatically have a quality conscious, they automatically quality culture. Whether you use some of these technical terms that are out there, these are all various processes or quality systems that we really use. But for us to really develop this whole quality culture, as I talked about, one needs a complete technology perspective. One needs a platform perspective for us to ensure that everybody in the organization is looking at the single version of the truth, or everybody is looking at the latest product. So you need kind of an automation across the board, and you need a whole technology perspective, which I really talk about a quality management platform. So once you have a quality management platform, whether it is your concept design, whether it is somebody capturing the customer requirements, somebody doing the detailed design, somebody doing the scheduling for manufacturing, somebody simulating the whole manufacturing process, and finally the quality department which measures, all these becomes very, very easy to track and kind of manage. So it's extremely important that we need a quality management platform for us to kind of address and create this whole quality culture across the organization to take care of many of these issues that are being faced, okay? So if you really look at it, some of the examples of people who have implemented this quality management platform, we have this Wabtec, which is a spun-off of GE, and you kind of see the amount of savings from a warranty cost reduction activity. And this, even an organization like this, the entire PPAP process was just run on spreadsheets and email, you know. So it is, even a bigger organizations are not so effective. Once they started implementing a quality management platform, they really saved a lot of money because, you know, I know many of you have heard of the lean manufacturing way, the Toyota production system, the 7 ways of waste which can be kind of removed. So while we talk of innovation, while we talk of doing something better, basic cleaning up of your existing processes, basic, you know, making your core processes efficient itself can be a big saving activity. So while we're talking of the future, we can really kind of speak of the now as well. Then we have another good example of Plenty, which actually makes, which is in the food industry. And these guys are into vertical farming where they have saved about 90% of the water requirements that is kind of needed. And this whole concept of barcoding right from the seed tray to final food that is kind of being processed, they kind of manage the whole thing through a quality management platform, really saving a lot of cost and, you know, improving the bottom line for that company. This is another very interesting company called Train Technologies. I don't know how many of you really heard of. This is again an offshoot of Ingersoll Rand. They are into HVAC from a domestic perspective, domestic HVAC as well as industrial HVAC. And they have also implemented a quality management platform, and they have reduced the cycle time by close to 87%. There's a huge amount of savings. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, while we have technologies for digital twin, even Hexagon, I call Hexagon as a digital company which operates in the physical world as well as the digital world. I'm saying that focusing, first start making more money with your existing activity, and that will really provide you the capital for you to really kind of invest into the future. So just to give you a brief, Hexagon is roughly about a 4+ billion euro company, look, you know, having applications in the industrial space as well as in the geospatial space. And the whole objective of Hexagon is to really create an autonomous future. And what I really mean by an autonomous future is cognitive automation. Can the data that is being produced by various machines or sensors, can they really act on the data by themselves without really human intervention? And that's called really autonomous. And that's applicable either to cities or to plants or to factories or to nations per se. How do we really create a smarter nation, a smarter city, a smarter factory, a smarter plant? And these are some of the various things that we actually do. So from a quality perspective, from a smart manufacturing perspective or whatever, as per me, the manufacturing starts right from the design stage, because 80% of the product costs get decided at 20% of the product life cycle, right? Because you decide what material you're going to use, what kind of manufacturing process you're going to use. Are you using additive manufacturing? Are you using traditional manufacturing? You're kind of deciding very early. So the quality and the manufacturing aspect starts right from the design stage. Then you go to the manufacturing stage, you create a digital twin for your product, you create a digital twin for your process, simulate the whole thing in the digital area, and then actually manufacture in the physical space. And then you have you know, the Hexagon hardware for you to measure the quality of the part and say, well, the designers may say, I've designed a great part, manufacturing guy may say, I manufactured a great part. The physical CMM machine which actually measures the part and tells you these are the tolerances on the part. So can we learn from all these things and connect through a digital thread and ensure that you're as designed, as manufactured, as measured can be one and the same? And this is what we are trying to kind of help various companies to ensure that whatever they see in the digital world, can they actually really manufacture in the physical world as well? And create a complete quality management system which really creates a quality culture across the organization to ensure that you produce the products of the highest quality and really become the manufacturing, one of the manufacturing capital of the world. I know Gadkari ji was telling that we want to increase the manufacturing component of the GDP from 13% to 30%. That's a great ambition, great aspiration. That really not possible if you are not able to produce quality products, not only for domestic consumption, for international consumption as well. So with this, I would say that focus on ensure that your products is right, getting right the first time. I saw the speaker speaking the other time that people are changing the mobile phones every year. So you don't even have an opportunity to start increasing your product development times. You have to really reduce your product development time, get it right the first time, and ensure that these are of the best quality which is accepted by the consumers anywhere in the world. With this, I really want to thank IIT for giving me the opportunity to speak at this event. Thanks a lot.